The moment I saw her on the porch, everything slowed down. The air was heavy. Something felt off. A light rain scent mixed with cut grass, almost like a warning. Leila's tiny figure clutching her teddy moved with hesitation, her eyes shadowed with secrets she wasn't ready to share. I knelt, arms open, expecting her usual burst of excitement, those wild, bright smiles she throws my way after even a few hours away. But this time, she hesitated, blinking at me like she was holding back a storm. When she finally stepped in, her grip was different, tight, guarded, almost desperate. We got in the car, her silence stretching longer than usual. I fussed over her, asked how her visit went, but she stared ahead, lost. Then, in that whisper only I could hear, she broke the silence. "Mommy, Grandma said I should never tell you what I saw." My heart froze. Her eyes looked so earnest, so fragile. I turned, my voice barely a whisper now. "Sweetheart, what did you see?" Her gaze lifted, trembling, and what she said next made my hands shake so hard I almost dropped my phone. I didn't wait. I raced to call the police, the adrenaline flooding my veins, desperate to protect her, and then to understand. Who is this little girl, and what strange darkness is lurking beneath her innocent eyes? Sometimes the quiet screams loudest. Sometimes secrets hide in plain sight. Leila's tiny hand slips into mine as we navigate the grocery aisles. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead, but all I see is her innocence. Bright eyes, quiet curiosity. We finish with the cart full of snacks, and later, she's in the bathroom, humming along as I brush her teeth to the same song we always sing. It's simple. It's routine. But beneath that, there's this quiet armor she wears, like she's holding on to secrets she's too young to fully grasp. Every night she insists I stay until she's asleep. I stay longer some nights just listening to her breath, counting beats in the heavy silence of our house. It's in those moments I realize how fragile this piece really is. Raising her alone? It's terrifying. Fevers feel like crises. Every midnight run from work feels like a risk I might not survive. Leila fills my world with purpose, even as I carry my own fears. Is she scared? Does she feel the weight of this missing piece in her life? Sometimes I wonder if she senses the shadows lurking beneath the surface, things she can't name yet. A quiet unease stitched into her innocence, waiting to surface when she's ready. All I can do is protect her, love her fiercely, and hope the secrets don't consume her before she has a chance to understand. I remember standing there, watching Leila giggle in her bright ladybug rain boots, though they weren't rain boots at all. The house felt eerily quiet without her. I packed her favorite snacks, her stuffed bear marbles, her bedtime storybook, everything I thought she'd need for a night away. But as I handed her over to Eleanor at the door, something felt off. Eleanor took the bag without meeting my eyes. "Are you sure you have everything?" I asked, voice cracking just a little. She shot me a quick, sharp smile. "Hannah," I raised Ethan, "I got this." That pause, that tone. It should have set off alarms, but I brushed it aside. I kissed Leila goodbye, her face glowing as she told her grandma she could read a few pages by herself. Everything was normal, or so I told myself. Driving away, I told myself it was just nerves. Just one night. I'd be back by noon tomorrow, but beneath the surface, that tightness in my chest refused to loosen. The hollow space in my stomach grew cold. Now, as I sit here recounting it, I wonder, do we ever really let go, or do parts of us stay behind, quietly waiting? Something about that night left a mark I couldn't see then, but I'd come to understand. Sometimes losing control is just the beginning. The morning air hits different when your fears turn real. I'd promised myself I'd stay calm, but as soon as I hit Eleanor's house, my stomach twisted cold. Something was off. The drive felt endless, the rain-scented air heavy with anticipation. Every mile I wrestled with my thoughts. Did she sleep okay? Was her nightlight on? Did Eleanor remember to warm her milk? The house looked silent. No laughter, no cartoons, just an eerie quiet that settled over me like a warning. Usually, I'd hear her tiny footsteps darting around before I even knocked. But today, silence. When Eleanor finally opened the door, her face held shadows I'd never seen before. Her hair was loose, her eyes distant, almost vacant. She didn't invite me in, just a cold gesture saying, "She's in the living room." My heart pounded. Leila sat on the edge of the sofa, clutching her stuffed bear, eyes empty, not near her usual bright spark. She looked up, but no smile. No, Mommy, just this quiet surrender. I knelt, voice trembling. "Hey, baby, did you have fun?" She nodded, barely. I brushed her hair behind her ear, but she flinched as if surprised by tenderness. It wasn't right, none of it was. Eleanor watched from the hallway, arms crossed, detached. We played some quiet games. She stayed up late. "Too late," she said. I wanted to ask more, to dig for answers, but something else held me back. I just grabbed her bag, thanked Eleanor out of habit, and headed for the car. She didn't follow. That silence afterwards? It felt like a warning. I'd ignored. Something was broken, and I hadn't even realized it yet. The real shock was coming, sooner than I could understand. The storm raged outside, rain pounding on the windows, scenting the air with dampness. Hannah's grip tightened on her daughter's small hand, her heart a labyrinth of protectiveness and sorrow. Leila's eyes, once sparkling with innocence, now shimmered with fears too heavy for her age. Hannah stared at her, trying to swallow the knot tightening in her throat. What was Grandma hiding? Just beneath the surface, a dark secret pulsed, one that could unravel everything. The silence between them thickened, broken only by Leila's trembling voice. "Mommy," she whispered, voice fragile. Hannah's pulse hammered. Her instincts told her to run, to shield her child from everything. Yet the storm outside was nothing compared to the storm sweeping through her mind. What had Leila seen? Heard? That she wasn't supposed to? Then the faint clack from the basement made her freeze. The house fell into a heavy silence, broken only by the distant, unrelenting rain. For a moment, every nerve in her body screamed to run, to hide. But her hand trembled as she held her daughter close. Why is that sound back now, when they thought they were finally safe? A shiver ran down her spine as shadows flickered across the walls. What does Grandma's secret really hide, and how deep does it go? I knew I had to act fast. I gently took Leila's tiny hand, our fingers entwined like reassurance. Her wide eyes held a storm of confusion, innocence shadowed by the words she'd whispered. Outside, the rain had slowed just enough to scent the air, a metallic, damp smell that clung to every breath. I'd driven her home, tucked her into her favorite blanket, handed her juice, and tried to drown out the fear in her voice with cartoons and fake smiles. Now, standing by the door, I asked, "Nothing's going to happen, sweetheart. Mommy's got this." Inside, my mind was racing. What if that girl's cry wasn't just a nightmare? What if someone, trapped in that basement, was waiting, frozen in time? I locked the door, my hands trembling as I dialed the police, trying to keep my voice steady. "Ma'am," I finally managed, voice cracking, "my daughter saw a girl locked in my mother-in-law's basement." Silence hung heavy on the line. Then, firm, "We're sending officers now." I stared at the phone, heart pounding. A rush of adrenaline overtook the fear. Clarity sharpened. I wasn't going to wait for them to arrive. I had to see for myself. Every second felt like a lead weight. My step was hesitant, but determined. My mind replayed Leila's words. What she saw, what she might be hiding from us. I felt a flicker of resolve. This wasn't just about fear anymore. It was about protection, no matter how dark the truth was. As I moved towards the basement door, shadows flickered across the walls. an echo of something unseen lurking just beyond sight. The faint drip of water, the lingering smell of dampness. These details haunted my senses. I hesitated, heart pounding harder. What if I uncovered something I couldn't unsee? Would I be strong enough to face what waited down there? Or would this be the moment everything we thought we knew was shattering? The house was quiet now, but the secrets simply waited, hidden in the silence, just beyond that door. Just to pick up something I forgot, sweetheart. I'll be right back. Auntie Olivia is coming to stay with you for a little while. I'd already texted Olivia after the police call. She's only 10 minutes away. Didn't ask questions, just said, coming. 5 minutes later, she was at the door. I told her what Leila had said again, voice trembling now. Olivia didn't blink. She crouched down, started playing with Leila like everything was normal, like chaos wasn't happening, like a child's tears were just rain in a storm. That's who she is. Steady, calm, someone who holds the chaos for you while your world spins. I drove straight to Eleanor's house, heart pounding so hard it felt like a drum. The further I got from the city, the more the silence pressed in. No sidewalk, no streetlights, just dark woods and the stillness of night. I kept imagining that hurt arm and that cry, pictures of her locked away, shadows lurking behind closed doors I'd blindly trusted before. I pull into the gravel driveway, turn off the engine. Eleanor's car's in her usual spot, curtains drawn tight, no sign of movement. The house feels frozen, like it's holding its breath. I gulped down the knots building in my throat, grabbed my phone, and stepped onto her porch. Forced to smile when she opened the door, trying to pretend I was just stopping by. "What are you doing back?" she asked, eyebrows raised. "I think Leila left her Teddy's other outfit," I said, voice shaky but trying to keep it light. "The red one, the picnic dress. She gets upset if it's not with her bear." Eleanor's eyes narrowed. She studied me like she could see right through the surface. I didn't notice anything strange during the cleanup, but a cold weight had settled over the house, like secrets strapped behind every wall. I said, "I just want to check her room real quick. Won't take a minute." There was that long silence, when Eleanor finally moved back, giving me space to go inside. The door swung open into a house that looked untouched but felt so frozen, so heavy with unspoken truths. I headed straight to the guest room where Leila had stayed, knowing deep down that what I found might change everything. Yet somehow I already knew that nothing would ever be quite the same again. The basement door trembles under her trembling hand. Shadows flicker behind the half-open panel, twisting in the faint glow of a single bulb that flickers like it's on its last breath. The muffled footsteps, deliberate, slow, cancel out Hannah's pounding heartbeat, and her throat tightens with unspoken fears. Leila's tiny voice, barely above a whisper, pierces the darkness. "Mom, did you hear that?" A shiver runs down Hannah's spine. The air hangs heavy with rain's damp scent, mixed with an unsettling metallic tinge. What's lurking beyond that threshold? She knows she's on the verge of discovering something unimaginable, something that might shatter everything. But she also senses that whatever waits in that shadowed abyss might be more than just a secret. It could be a truth so raw, so dangerous, that even her strongest resolve might crumble before the night's end. Can she face what's hidden before it's too late? Or will the shadows swallow all hope, leaving her with nothing but questions? The porch was quiet, but I could feel something unraveling deep inside. One of the officers was calling out, voice tense and urgent, but I couldn't make sense of what he was saying. Then came that unmistakable sound. Thud, then metallic clang, like something being forced open, like a latch snapping free. Every nerve in my body straightened, waiting. I didn't move from the porch, but it was as if my entire being was tuning into that noise. A deputy finally stepped out, face pale, tight with tension. He tried not to look at me, turning instead toward the cruiser to radio something into his mic. When he finally met my eyes, his expression spoke volumes, more than words ever could. "There's a girl," he said softly. "She's alive." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. I froze, throat tight, fighting the urge to deny it. I wanted to believe. No, I needed to believe that this was some terrible mistake, some misunderstanding. Maybe that Leia had wandered off, or Eleanor, my Eleanor, had a reason for those locked doors. But deep down, I knew. I already knew. Minutes later, Eleanor was led out in handcuffs, her face like stone. Nothing like the fragile woman I had once known. She didn't cry, didn't scream. All pride, and maybe guilt, etched into every line on her face. She didn't meet my eyes, just walked stoically as if this was someone else's nightmare. Under her breath, she whispered something I couldn't catch, a dark secret slipping away. From behind, another patrol car pulled up, followed by an ambulance. Paramedics moved swiftly, urgency stamped into every step. Then I saw her, barely 10, maybe younger, her tiny frame bundled in a blanket, the only thing keeping her tethered to this moment. Her face was a map of dirt and loneliness, her cheeks hollow. Her tangled hair stuck to her face, eyes wide and untrusting, darting like she'd seen too much for her age. One arm was in a makeshift sling. She didn't speak, but when she looked at me, just for a second, I saw something raw. Fear. Loss. A story I wasn't meant to hear. Was her silence hiding a truth too heavy to carry, or was she just too exhausted to voice it? Either way, I knew one thing. Nothing would ever quite be the same again. I looked into Leia's trembling eyes, and that's when I saw it. An almost invisible scar on her wrist. My heart stopped. It's like everything suddenly shifted. Those past nights when she'd wake up screaming, clutching her blanket, shadowy figures lurking in her dreams. Those bruises I couldn't explain. It all clicked. The pieces fell into place, and I felt the world crumbling beneath me. That innocent child. She wasn't just struggling with what she saw. No, they'd been hiding something darker, something I never saw coming, something I never imagined could be real. The hope I clung to, that maybe it was just childhood fears, evaporated. Instead, a cold suspicion set in, twisting everything I believed in. And I wondered, that scar, was it from something deeper, something they kept from me? My mind rebelled, trying to piece together the unspoken truth behind those eyes, behind that tiny body. I'd thought I knew my world, my little girl, but now it felt like my entire reality was tipping over, and I couldn't escape the feeling. This wasn't over, not even close. Under the faint flicker of a porch light, Hannah pauses, her hand trembling as she pulls her daughter close. The night's air is thick with unspoken fears, an invisible weight hanging between them. Sirens echo in the distance, the sounds of the world still turning, but inside this moment, everything feels frozen. Hannah's mind whirls. What stories are hiding behind those innocent eyes? Is the darkness from before truly gone, or is it just hiding, waiting to creep back? Her grip tightens, protecting her little girl, safe, just for now. But the question lingers. What happens when the night ends? Will the shadows stay gone, or is something still lurking just beyond her view, daring to reappear? Every breath Hannah takes is a fragile promise, and neither of them knows what the dawn will bring. The truth's confession has echoed loud enough, but can they really leave it behind? Or is this just the beginning of something darker that refuses to stay buried? The kitchen hums low, clatter of dishes mixing with distant sirens. Hannah's fingers tremble as she gently touches the old teddy bear hidden in a box. It's worn, fragile, like the memories she's trying to keep safe. A faint scent of vanilla laces the air, tangled with the mustiness of old paper. It's her daughter's innocence, lost and found in every breath of her childhood. Her eyes fill, heavy with unspoken truths, nightmares she can't voice, shadows she can't forget. She thinks back, those quiet nights, the silence so cold it nearly freezes her heart. Listening, waiting, desperately hoping her daughter would be safe. But what if the darkness never left? What if it's just hiding, waiting to creep back in? The scar on her wrist. Did it come from a nightmare? Or something darker? Hannah's brain races. What's really behind her little girl's bright eyes? Was her innocence just a shield, or was something beneath it? She pulls Leila close, feeling her tiny body tremble. A fragile promise to protect her, just for now. The night's quiet is thick with questions. When the sun rises, will the shadows stay gone, or is something lurking just beyond the edge of sight? Her breath catches, each one a fragile vow, holding tight, praying the nightmare's over. But somewhere deep, the sense that the darkness isn't finished lingers. And as the world spins on, Hannah wonders, what will the dawn reveal? The truth echoed loud enough. Can they really leave it behind, or is this just the start of something darker that refuses to stay buried? Because sometimes, the bravest thing a mother can do is hold her child close and hope the nightmares won't find their way back. Rain still beads on the window, the scent of damp earth lingering in the air. I remember that quiet night, sitting on the porch with Leila nestled in my arms. She clutches her favorite doll, so small, so trusting. Outside, distant thunder rumbles, shadows flicker as the storm plays tricks on her wide eyes. I hear her tiny voice, trembling but hopeful. "Mommy, will everything be okay?" It hits me, how fragile innocence is, how much she's already been through without knowing it. My hands tremble as I brush her hair, feeling the unspoken fears pressing against my chest. Beneath her trust, I wonder, what's really hiding behind those bright eyes? Was her innocence just a shield, or is there something darker lurking? I look at her tiny face, her trembling hands. My heart aches. I want to protect her forever, but can I? Can I shield her from what I can't even see myself? The scent of rain mixes with the rustle of leaves, and I think, how much does she really understand? Maybe she senses the storms inside me, inside us all. Is this just the start of something, or are the shadows already creeping back? I hold her closer, whispering promises I hope I can keep. As the sky flashes with distant lightning, I realize, what we hide is often the scariest thing of all, and maybe, just maybe, the bravest thing I can do is stand firm, fight the darkness with love, with hope. Because the truth is, sometimes the battles aren't loud, they're silent. Yet they shake the foundations of our lives. And the question remains, can we truly leave the past behind? Or does it always sneak in through the quiet cracks, ready to re-emerge? I breathe in slowly, feeling the storm's echo inside me, knowing that the night's quiet promises are just temporary. The dawn might reveal more than I want to see. Still, I hold on to that fragile hope. Love is stronger than fear. And deep down, I know, protecting her doesn't just mean guarding her body, it's guarding her trust, her innocence, her future. No matter what shadows we face, we keep moving forward. Because at the end of the day, the only thing stronger than darkness is a mother's unwavering love, and the courage to face whatever comes, no matter how terrifying it seems. In the dim glow of a stormy night, Hannah clutches her daughter Leila's trembling hand. Outside, rain whispers against the windows, a quiet hum that clashes with the chaos inside. Hannah's tears streak her face as she finally whispers the words she's kept locked away, exposing the grief buried deep. Leila's wide eyes flicker with innocence and vulnerability, yet beneath that, a fragile trust. She gently touches her mother's arm, sensing a flicker of relief amid the storm. The room feels heavy. unspoken truths hanging like thunderclouds. Still, in this raw moment, something begins to shift. The storm outside rages on, but their hearts find a fragile peace. Facing fears, sharing pain, even in the darkness, can be the first step toward healing. Because sometimes salvation is just being brave enough to be vulnerable together,